Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and welcome back to the Macro Lounge podcast. I am your co-host, Chris Bold, joined by the queen of all sparkles, Rachel Mead. How are you this afternoon, Rachel?
Not too bad. Just a little bit sleepy from being waken up by one certain kitten, but pretty good overall.
Yeah, well, that's because he's a large, boisterous boy. He's going through, technically, potentially entering into his teenage years. So you have to think about, all those teenage boys that show up at the gym at around, 3:30, 4 o'clock, and, you just realize that it is not okay to smack them.
Isn't it? Are you sure?
Not publicly or around a CCTV camera, anyway. I think that's generally frowned upon.
Surely a gentle hit, like gentle punch.
Yeah,
Surely.
It's a love tap, just sort of like,
Actually, what I didn't tell you, Chris, is that over the weekend, I decided it was a good idea to go play badminton, social badminton.
Yes, and we do know that Ed is a bit of a secret gun at that. How did you do?
Too bad. So I was put in so there's 4 levels. I was in level, 3, I think. I don't know, the one above beginner.
Okay, there you go. Novice. We'll go with novice, shall we?
Novice, yes. And I started off a little bit slower, but that was, I like to think that was because at the end, I held out with my endurance, whereas a lot of the oldies that we were playing with, they did get tired after a couple of games. And
hang on, you played against a bunch of older people.
It was mixed, but there was one guy that I played with every single game, because they do random draws, but I just happened to be with this guy in every single game. And it was so funny, because at the start, he was kind of smashing me a little bit. And then about 3 games in, he just died. So
Stamina.
he just ran out. So yes, towards the end, I was pretty good on the last couple of games.
So what you're saying is that should this whole Bikini Pro thing not work out for you, there's always a career 2 as a badminton pro.
Well, do you know what I realized is that you actually use a lot of glutes in badminton. My glutes are so sore. I think it's all the lunging.
You've also got really long wingspans, so that would probably also help, I think.
My shoulder's a bit sore today.
Well, maybe it's not the sport for you, but on a social, don't tell Valerie, because she's trying to get us to do it. I keep going, but sweetie, you're like this tall,
Well, no, there was someone there shorter than Val.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I didn't know that was
So
possible.
there you go. Nope, it's all different people. It's a mixture of age ranges and everyone.
And will we be going back for a repeat performance, I guess, is the trick question.
Yes, I will be going back, but definitely not weekly, because I don't think my body can handle it. Maybe monthly.
When you see something blocked into your calendar and you go, Ed, what's this? You go, I'll tell you next weekend. You're like, suspicious behavior.
I do need to get my own racket, though, because I did borrow the lovely Jess Wong's. Jess was at the Taupo show. I'm not sure if you remember.
Yeah.
So she was there too, and she knows how to play badminton properly. Although she did take some time off for bodybuilding, and everyone was asking her where she was, and I'm like, she was on the Stairmaster. But she gave me a pretty pink badminton racket to use.
Did you take it home and bedazzle it?
I did not, but we did have the discussion that if I get one, it needs to be pink, and then 2, it needs to be bedazzled. I don't know how I will bedazzle it, but
I think you could bedazzle the head
outside,
of it quite
maybe
nicely. Yeah, that would do. The handle probably not so much. That's probably
I don't know if I can do that. Maybe the top of the handle, but then I can't do the fun spins with it.
No, you see, there's always a catch. There's always a catch. So, trick question for you. Do you know what this week is?
What is this week?
See, I knew if I didn't put it in your calendar, you wouldn't know. Although, to be fair, I didn't either, and I was informed this week. This week is our first anniversary as the Macro Lounge podcast.
Oh my god, is it?
I know! Where did the year go? How have we been doing this for a year, and we still have people listen to us, and we haven't been completely cancelled? I think that's a small victory.
I think so too. People still listen to us after a year?
I know. And we've only been actually cancelled by one federation. I think it's pretty good.
I mean, we haven't been, we're mostly cancelled by them, but we haven't been banned. So.
No, that's probably coming this year. I mean, we've got something to aim for in 2027.
That is true.
Goals.
That is true. Goals.
Holy,
1 year.
I know. I know. I was like, nah. And everybody said, no, 1 year. And I was like, oh, look at that. So it made me think a little bit. It's like, if you think about all the complete claptrap that we've made up over this last year, I was like, what would be your favorite? What would be Rachel's favorite episode? I thought, can you remember all of them? That's the $6 million question.
Well, I'm going to have to say it was probably the one on Sparkles.
Done a few on Sparkles, but yes.
Well, we did one that was just purely bikini based.
That's true. That's probably, that's probably too easy to pick. What about
I'm not allowed that one?
Nah, that would be kind of like me picking the judging one. It's kind of like, that's the default one.
Okay, good question. Yeah, I don't remember because, I don't remember what we've done. I'm just quickly pulling up my Spotify. Chris, do you have a favorite episode while I'm trying to look up what the episodes were?
I would say probably the favourite one would be a bit of a toss-up between the one we did with Beck William. I thought that was pretty cool because
Mm-hmm.
she was really interesting. But also, I think obviously we've had a couple of ones where there's been some interesting insight into other goings and so forth. But it was really interesting, I think, having Sully Sullivan on from the OCB in the US, because I think that sort of opened a few people's eyes up to the sport globally outside of just what happens in New Zealand. So that was quite interesting. And then, of course, you had the first one, probably the favorite one, because that was the one where you look back on it now and go, man, we really sucked at this.
Oh my God, yes. Our voices sounded terrible in that one.
I know. It's like we both had really bad Kiwi accents and sounded like we were doing it in a public bathroom. It's like, what were we doing?
We
Or
have
maybe the
come a long
producers
way.
got better. Maybe the producers got better.
She's gotten better at filtering out our shit.
Yeah. And our 100% or what was it she said that I said all the time?
What do you say all the time? That's enough? No, something like that.
Something like that. Yeah, true. I'm sure she will remind me when she hears this, and then we'll go from there. But yeah, no, there's been we've covered quite a bit.
Yeah.
Considering as we did start off initially with quite a nice in-depth spreadsheet of all the topics we were going to cover, and then that went sort of out the window. We probably should really sort of revisit that to see if we've missed anything. But no, there's been some really interesting ones. There's been some that have been, I think, quite insightful. The most popular one, I believe, is currently a tie between the one with Brenda from the ICN and then also Cam from Uglyface, which is
I was going to say,
surprising.
of the guest ones, I'd say that one was probably my favorite. I've really enjoyed talking to Cam.
Yep, we'll have to have him back on now. Now that we're sitting here, technically it's a year, so we can't have him on the same year, and also probably need to let the dust settle around the NZ Muscle scandal, which seems to be losing its steam, thankfully. So Cam can get on with the important things in his life, like running a successful supplement company.
Yes, because I think he had to actually take a break from doing any like promotion or anything because he didn't want to have it or like have it seem like he was trying to use it for a marketing. Yeah. Which is, okay, I have to actually say this opinion on this one because a lot of people did kind of, they did make comments on the fact that he is in the industry, but I'm also like, well, who else is going to know what to look for? Like, if you're not in the industry, you don't know what to look for. You don't know where to send the products for testing. You don't know a lot of those very niche things that only someone in the industry would know to look for. So who else is going to call them out for it?
True. I just think it was also very brave of Cam. I mean, obviously he didn't do it under the Uglyface branding, but I think it was very brave of Cam to put himself out there as in exposing that, because as you said, a lot of people were like, well, you're a competitor, of course you're going to be talking shit about it. And to just because you know something, I think to make that decision to put yourself front and center in the firing line, I think that took some pretty hefty balls to put himself out there like that. And as you said, he got a fair amount of grief from some haters about it. And full credit to the entire team actually out there that put that together. So it'd be interesting to see what the final fallout is. But we'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah, we'll have to see because I think they are officially being investigated now. So yes, we should find out what happens. Yeah, all the fun things that happen in New Zealand. It's a small world, guys. Don't piss people off.
I know. And the worst thing is, if it's happening here, it's pretty much happening everywhere. And so, it'll be interesting to see what happens. Especially when now you're starting to see a lot more of this transparency around manufacturing coming out. And, it's interesting when you see some of these bigger manufacturing companies, particularly the ones out of Australia, and they're telling you about the processes they have to go through just to get something out the door. And that's when you sort of go, at what point does someone decide I can get away with something versus is it really worth the risk? And you've got to wonder, really, when you sit around a business table and go, let's do this, somebody's got to have a little idea to go, it's probably going to come back and bite us in the ass. And rightfully so. But hats off to Cam and his team for being brave enough to do that. And I'm sure we will ask him about that when we catch up with him. Actually, not too distant future, actually. I think I've been talking to him recently, so we'll get that underway as well.
And it was really cool to have all of the other supplement companies who all came out and were like, hey, here's our process. Come look at it.
Yeah.
Which is both funny and awesome at the same time, because now a lot of those companies are showing actual behind the scenes. This is what it looks like, whereas before we didn't really get that. So it was really cool that came to light, and hopefully, potentially, we might get some new, like, I guess maybe like what's the word, like a supervising.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I wouldn't hold my breath on that.
Someone to make sure that things are done properly.
A governing body, so to speak.
Yep, yeah, something like that. I mean, we don't even have that for personal trainers, so.
No, somebody will come up with a new, transparency tick thing, or something or other, and you have to sign up for stuff like that. But it'll be voluntary because, I mean, they haven't managed to standardize the nutrition supplementation industry in the US. They haven't done it here, and there's always going to be bad actors, and it's good when you've got people who've got the platform like Cam and his team and the guts to back it up. There's always going to have to be that, because there's always going to be somebody who's going to try and fudge the edges, unfortunately. And it's not just in supplementation, it's right across the whole sport, really, isn't it?
Yeah, pretty much. So what are we talking about today, Chris? That's probably enough sidetracking.
Sidetracking? Well, I figured you were just trying to divert it because, today's episode, ladies and gentlemen, is about, well, in a roundabout sort of way, it's about our stunning co-host Rachel Mead here, reasonably speaking, because, Rachel's about to enter into a very different type of prep mode. And I think it officially will kick off, well, I'm guessing next week, because the first step in the prep process is underway.
It is.
And so, but it's not a bodybuilding show. So what are we prepping for, Rachel?
We are prepping for the wedding.
Now, are we prepping for the wedding? Or the real question that everybody is going to be asking is, are we actually prepping for the dress?
Yes, absolutely.
Because I'm pretty sure the wedding comes second.
Oh, 100%. The dress comes first. And the photo shoot with the dress, which I've actually said to Ed recently, there might have to be two. So I did send this to your wife.
One without him.
Well, no, because we need to come back and have some photos with the cat. He's part of the family, but he won't be at the wedding.
Can't we just take the cat to the wedding?
I feel like he wouldn't like that. He doesn't like loud noises.
He has some cute little Emma.
He would hate that so much. But no, yeah, so I've actually said to him that we should do a home photo shoot too. He wasn't a fan of that idea. He thought I was being very excessive, but that's not up to him.
No, I was going to say, I'm technically with Ed on this one, but I'm also realizing that he actually has absolutely no say in this. And if I can tell Ed anything in this process is just agree with it, just go with it, just do as you're told. Life will be a lot smoother and a lot easier for you.
Which is why we are now getting a wedding planner.
This is also very good news because I thought this was going to be interesting. So when's the big day?
In March. I don't know
No, not the...
Wait, what are we talking about?
Dress shopping. The most...
dress shopping.
Processes, girl. We've got to work our way through to it.
Okay, so, we are going dress shopping next week on the... Next week? Yep. Or this week it will be once this comes out. Looking at my calendar. On the 16th, so that is on Thursday, just before we go down to, is it Palmerston North? Yeah, no, Christchurch.
No, Christchurch. Good thing I know what the calendar is. So who's going dress shopping?
So your lovely wife Val is coming. I've got my own mother as well. And we've got my friend Tara and my friend Jane.
So you're taking my wife and the producer, but not me, the coach.
I didn't think you'd be interested, to be honest.
Probably right, actually. But I'm still calling favoritism, which is pretty much understandable.
Well, she is the favorite, to be fair. We don't hide that.
Yeah, that's true. So I guess the real question is going to be, how is this process going to go? It's like you're used to picking bikinis and sparkles and, so it's like, is there a process to this, or is this going to be, what are we, do we have, usually you're picking colors. There's not really much of a choice at this point.
No.
So, how is this decision going to be made? Is this going to be a democratic process where everybody's there, or is it just, everybody just stand around and go, ooh?
You ask like I know.
Actually, I did really think that was probably...
I mean, I have done one dress shop, not shop, but I did try on a few dresses, which I assume Val did show you because I did send them to her.
No.
Oh, she didn't? Did she tell you at least?
This is one of those things that, again, it's like I'm excluded from. Because I'm not obviously the favourite, so I can cope.
I apologise. I assumed that she would have just showed you.
Yeah. Probably because she knows if she shows me the dress, I'm going to start writing a training plan for it. True.
Well, yeah, that's unfortunate because we did kind of, judging off that initial try-on that I did at a local place, we are looking at backless.
Well, you know what that means.
Yes, it does mean a lot of back training, which I'm not opposed to. I'd much rather train back than glutes, to be honest.
Well, it's really hard to do a booty pop now, get that right side angle when you're doing in a wedding dress. I'm not sure.
Depends on the style. Depends on the wedding dress. But I mean, they are heavy, is one thing I did learn as well. They are very heavy because there is a lot of fabric on some of them. So yes, I'm not opposed.
When you think about it, bikinis are surprisingly heavy too. When you're like, Jesus.
Because of all the rhinestones, which I am probably going to add some rhinestones to my dress, to be honest. Because that was the other thing we noticed, is that I need sparkles when I was trying stuff on. If it didn't have sparkles, we were just like,
Yeah, this. Basically, if the people at the what do you call them, bridal boutique, go with that.
Yeah,
if they brought you something out that didn't have sparkles, I would be like, oh, we're leaving. I mean,
Well, this one it was quite funny because the lady actually wasn't there. So she was in the US. And so we pretty much had the shop to ourselves, and because it was technically closed. But then the lady who worked in the shop next door, I think they kind of have like a conjoined thing going on because it's like the same building. She just opened it up for us and was like, "Here, go have fun." So it was quite fun because it was just like a little playground.
I'm just picturing you running up and down aisles going, wee!
No, we were very sensible. I was like, oh my God. I was actually freaking out a little bit because I was like, I know how much effort probably went into these dresses, and there's a lot of materials and it's all very expensive. So we need to be very careful. And I was very surprised that we got that much trust to be left alone in a dress shop full of wedding dresses. So basically we got to pick out whatever we wanted, and it was quite fun, like having a look at some different styles. We went for a few things that I thought I wouldn't like, and I actually turned out I'm not opposed to sleeves, like the mesh kind of sleeves with some like sparkly lace on it, because sparkles.
More
surface area
for sparkles, more surface area for sparkles. That makes sense. Yeah.
I mean, I could just get like a temporary like patch to stick on my skin and do that as well. That's an idea.
Or you could get this long train thing like a cape and just sparkle the bejeebers out of it, but that would be really heavy to walk down the aisle with.
Well, I was planning on doing that with like a veil.
There you go.
And that was something that I decided, like the hem needs to have like the lace appliques was covered in sparkles.
I'm assuming a lot of this sparkling you are not going to be doing yourself at this particular stage.
Depends. It depends on what I can find. I could do some of it myself. I mean, it's not till March, so like I have time.
Rachel, what's your track record like of having stuff for yourself done in advance?
But I mean, it's over summer though.
All
these ones, the other ones were peak season. This one is like over summer.
My level of faith is not high. Just saying. I'm just trying to cut down on your last minute panic stress.
This is true, but I could get my mother to help me.
This is true. You could get Valerie to help you. She's pretty good at doing arts and crafts stuff, and we always like to find more projects for her to do. So why not?
Exactly. See, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. So yes, the next one is going to be, I think, a little bit more, I guess, formal. And I do need to actually reply to them about doing a call, I think, before I go in. I don't know.
This is sounding like just a much more complicated version of a bikini console.
Yeah, probably. I mean, I do have like a little mood board of like, and I made another one of the dresses that I tried on with like parts of each one that I liked. But yes, none of them fit me right, which was a bit concerning and not shocking though. No.
Yeah.
So alterations may be needed. We'll see what happens at the other brew shop. But I mean, again, they usually, apparently I'm small.
Well, it depends on angles, I guess, doesn't it?
So they were all too big for me. There was only like 2 that I tried on that would fit, and that was the smallest size they had in the shop.
Seamstress is going, I'm going to have to do a lot of adjusting here. So what's going to be more difficult, do you think, if we're sort of staying in the realms of the bikini world? Is it going to be more difficult to actually make a final decision on the bikini dress, or a final decision? Hey, it's got sparkles. Good. Hey, nobody would be surprised if you walk down in a bikini. They'd be like, well, it'd be the only time you could actually justify wearing a white sparkled bikini. It does sound like an entirely different theme wedding, so maybe not. I'm just picturing Ed's mom going, yeah, so maybe.
You're acting like I don't have a plan to do a photo shoot in an absolutely over the top white bikini.
Again, not surprised. Yeah, not surprised.
I'm going to put so many sparkles on it. Like all those old out of fashion bikinis that are like mega thick sparkles. It's going to have those. They need to be used at some point.
This is true. You probably don't have to move a lot in it, so there's not a lot of posing required. You just get into a pose and just stay there. So I'm imagining for a lot of people listening or watching today that the process of choosing at the wedding dress is going to be similar to the process that you go through when people are deciding on a bikini, but maybe just on steroids.
Possibly. Well, I mean, the upside is you don't have to choose a color. I feel like the hardest thing for choosing your bikini is the colors. From there, that the rest is kind of easy because, like, the styles, you kind of have a pretty set style. The connectors generally pretty same. There's like 2 or 3 really that you choose from these days. You could do others, but generally you don't. But yeah, the colors are the big one. So taking out the color does take out a lot of options.
This is true. But there are more styles available.
There is more styles, and
at least
that
on a
is
bikini,
huge.
there's only so many cuts, and you're like, well, you can have 1, 2, 3, or 4. Whereas you just said when you went into said bridal boutique, there's like thousands of them.
Yeah.
And for somebody like Sparkles, that's gonna cause you issues. I can just see that the excessive sparkles and the ADHD all kicking in at the same time, and it's asking a lot.
Well, I mean, I have a clearish idea of what I want, and then luckily, because I have my little group around me who also are very good at like making sure they're onto me with their ideas, and everyone seemed on the same page when I sent them the photos, and they all liked the same 2 dresses, so that was good. Everyone kind of had the same opinions, which was great. So everyone's on the same page. But yes, no, definitely, like, because one of the issues I think I'm going to have is all those pieces that are different, having them all in the same dress. Because, like, you could have the right shape, but then it's not the right fabric.
See, again, this is something, from a male perspective that we do have it kind of easy, because it's basically, do you want to wear this colour suit or do you want to wear that colour suit? And the budgets tend to be slightly different.
I will say Ed was very upset when he found out how boring the men's wedding bands are. He was not impressed. He was so mad because he was like, this is no fun. How come you get all the fun?
Yeah, why do you get all the sparkles? I suppose he could have sparkles.
He is, yeah, we are looking at getting a custom one done for him because he doesn't want just a plain piece of metal.
Was he feeling left out, was he?
He was feeling very left out. So, yes, it has been entertaining because the other conversation we had was actually with the bridesmaids, and I said to him, like, they have jobs. Like, for example, Talia's job is going to be to attend me. Her job is to make sure I am all pristine and I'm perfect.
Put together, yep. Mm-hmm.
And then he's like, wait, they have jobs? They have to do stuff? I'm like, you can give your groomsmen jobs. And he's like, really? What? I'm like, oh my God, the difference between the guys and the girls.
Yeah, it's pretty cruisy. Yeah, it's just like, it's not a complicated process. And as long as you just understand from the get-go, you have very little say.
Yeah, I was like, your groomsman's job is just to make sure you get there on time and that you are dressed. That's about it.
Yes, this is very important. This is a very important job that they have, and there have been known to be a few screw-ups along the way. But so you said you've created a mood board. Dare I ask how many options went into this mood board?
Oh, well, I mean, I have two.
One of them, mood boards.
Well, because the second one was built from the dresses that I tried on, so that one was actually photos of me. The first one was not photos of me. That was photos I found online.
Okay,
so
well, fair enough. So you've pared it down. This is a good start.
So the first one, I think actually both of them are around 6 photos, so not too bad. I try to keep the mood boards not too complicated. I've tried to make it so that there's like just key elements that I've pulled out, and that I do have a pretty clear pattern overall. There's just one big decision, unfortunately, that I have not made that we'll find out, I guess, next week.
So how many dresses do you think you'll try on? Because statistically speaking, apparently the average is, and it seems like quite a wide spectrum, between 5 and 10 dresses.
Okay, that's more than I expected. Because I think I only have an hour or an hour and a half. Usually you have a set amount of time. I think when I was at the other one, I did it in an hour, and I think I tried on about 8.
See, there we go. And so you're already at 8, so this one next week you only have 2 left, and then so you have to make a decision. I know, pressure.
Hey, this one is also like a broad range one, because the other boutique was a little bit smaller. So this one is like more of a chain store type one, so there's a lot more, I guess, bigger range. And then if I need to, I can bring it back down. So there might still be one more dress try on after this. We'll find out. Stay tuned.
Yes. Somehow I'm just picturing trying all these dresses on, and then you going, no, that's not exactly what I want. I'm going to make it myself. And I'll be like, okay.
Well, hell no. I am not making it myself. Absolutely not. Because people don't understand this, but I really suck at making anything that's not stretch fabric. Usually people have the other way around where they struggle using stretch fabric, but I guess that's all I do. So I can't make anything that's not stretch fabric, because if you do even like the tiniest little bit, like millimeter off on your straight line, it's very, very noticeable. On stretch fabric, it's not, because you just stretch around it.
There you go.
So
I'm
yeah,
just
no,
picturing a
absolutely
runway
not.
dress with just excessive amounts of crystals and like a white color, and then just thinking, yeah, please don't go down that route. That would be
I mean, you're
dangerous.
not actually probably far off. It will be kind of. One of the styles I'm kind of looking at is that mermaid kind of style that I do for that. So I'm
Sure.
debating between that or like the big ball gown type style. That is undecided. That is undecided. We will find out.
Okay. We shall await with a bated breath on that one. So I guess the question is, if we think about this from, our sporting background and the topics of, the subject of this particular podcast is, are you choosing the dress or are you going to build the body for the dress? So you're going to find the dress first and go, right, now I need to go into training for the dress, so I need to do this. Or are you going, this is me, now I've got to find the right dress for that?
I feel like I'm closer to the second one. I'm still obviously going to train for it, but I'm also aware that I don't grow muscle quickly or at all.
Well, that's not true. I mean, not quickly, yes, we'll give you that, but
Yeah, like 1% speed.
well, I see, because this genuinely fascinates me, the whole, wedding dress shopping. But, as I said, from a male's perspective, it's like, it's not that hard to find the right cut, right?
Yes, it is.
For a suit. You can go in and you can get it tailored and, it suits. It's like pretty much.
So are you telling
what
me,
color?
Chris, that when you buy a suit or a shirt, that it fits both your waist and your shoulders?
Oh, hell no. Nothing fits me. I'm screwed up. If it fits my waist, I can't get it over my legs. If it fits my legs, I can't. It's like from out like here. But generally speaking, it's like, you can go in, you can get that tailored, and, there's only so, like bikinis, there's only so many styles of suits. You've got, your more tapered look, you've got your more boxy look, and, so it's not that complicated. It's more as long as you get the right color to keep the bride happy. Or in most cases, the bridegroom's mother
picked it.
happy.
That's true.
Yeah.
Which actually, speaking of, I don't know if I've specifically told you this, but I'm going to need 2 dresses.
Jesus. I'm going to ask, why?
For the tea ceremony that we will be doing in the morning. So
yes.
traditional,
Yes, you did
I'll
mention
be dressed up in some traditional Chinese, what's it called? Oh, I don't even want to pronounce it. Cheongsam? I probably butchered that.
Yeah,
There's 2 names for it. That's one of them that I've seen. I don't know. My issue is that they don't really sell those in New Zealand.
This sounds like it could be an issue. So,
But I mean, that one is much more of a set style, so there's less options for that one, to be honest, because it's the Mandarin type collar, pretty much, and then at least 3/4 length.
Okay.
So yeah, that one's a pretty set style. But unfortunately, I don't really suit that style, but we will make it work. We will figure something out.
I'm sure you will. There'll be a little bit of stretch fabric in there somewhere, I'm sure.
So, no, I don't think there will. It's made out of like jacquard fabric.
Yeah, it's more like this. Yeah. I'm stuck in it.
It's okay, I don't need to be in it for long.
No, that's true. Photos done. Thank you. Keep the in-laws happy. That's that problem solved. So you've got the style you like. Did you pick? I guess, and this is something that, because weirdly enough, most of my clients fall into 3 categories that they're training for. They're either training for a bodybuilding show, which makes up the largest percentage of it. They're training for a photo shoot, or they're getting married. And the really interesting thing about all of those 3 types of ladies is the one thing they all have in common is we know the date. We can't push it. We can't say, you're not quite ready for the show. Why don't we just push that out 8 weeks and we'll do South Island? Because I'm pretty sure that's not going to fly. But so when you're looking at the dresses, are you looking at a dress that flatters your physique, or are you looking at a dress that you just go, pretty?
Can it be both?
Well, yeah, I suppose it can.
Because I mean, you want to look good in the photos. I think that's the number one, to be honest, is looking good in the photos. Doesn't matter about anything else. Number 1 priority is looking good in the photos.
That is
number
true.
2
Photos
is the
do
food.
last forever. Yep.
Food is number 2.
Yep, that's true. But I mean, every dress is obviously different, right? Some show off more shoulders, some are more arms, some are more back, some are more waist, some are more glutes. So for you, and I guess this applies to, like, I've been to quite a few wedding dress fittings, really, and gone literally like, no, honey, you do not have the glutes for that dress. It's like, no. Like when you're helping somebody with their bikini consult, for example, are you sort of thinking about when you're dress shopping for you? Are you looking at the style, thinking, well, this accentuates your physique as well, or are you thinking my physique accentuates the dress?
So one thing, I mean, I don't know if this answers it, but one thing I noticed for me was that it's very, very important for me to have something that is very fitted at the waist, because I have very wide hips and I have relatively wide shoulders. I wouldn't say I necessarily have the tiniest waist in the world, but it's small in comparison to my hips and my shoulders.
Yeah,
Which
proportionally
means
speaking.
that if it's not fitted around the waist, I look very blocky and rectangular, which I'm not a fan of. I prefer I prefer having that nice silhouette. So for me, when I was trying those on, I was like, that's not good. It doesn't make me look good. So I think, I'm looking at something that's going to kind of accentuate the shape. And then, I can always customize and decorate later on. The shape is probably the most important.
Why am I having no issue believing this customization will take place, at some stage?
Because I'm fussy, but I mean, it might not be customized by me. Most dress places, like especially if it's an in-house brand, they will generally customize it themselves. Like the place that I'm going next week is, if it's an in-house brand, you can mix and match different styles. So if you have like the top of this dress and the skirt of this dress, you can be like, yes, I want those mushed together. Because they do make a lot of them to order, so similar to what I do, I guess. So yes, very important, I think, to find the right shape that flatters your shape, I guess we could say.
Mm-hmm.
I guess similar to like with a swimsuit, because that's probably a little bit more coverage and less standardized than a bikini. Bikinis are kind of like usually is what it is.
Yeah, these are your choices. But I guess, like as you just said, like swimsuits, right? And swimsuits, bikinis. Can the wrong dress hide a fantastic physique?
Yes.
And can the right dress completely elevate someone's physique?
Absolutely. Oh my god, when I've been looking online, there's some ugly dresses out there. I'm sorry. Some of them are so ugly. Like, they just have no shape. And I'm just like, I don't know. Like, they're like $3,000 and it's like a rectangle with an armhole.
Excellent. That's a good business model. We can get away with that.
I know. If you put wedding in front of anything, triple the price straight away.
Yeah, Valerie and I found that when we got married and we started looking for places, particularly in the UK, and we were like, oh, it's for a wedding. It's like suddenly, ting, you're like, so if we just said it was for a party, would this have been more cost effective?
Yes.
Like wedding breakfast. It's like, it's not breakfast, it's at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Why is it called a wedding breakfast? I do not understand these terms. Should do, I've been married enough time. Moving on. So I guess, should brides stop chasing trends? Like, let's face facts. Once the pictures actually come out of Taylor Swift's wedding dress,
shit,
you know what everybody's going to be wearing for the next 5 years. I mean, my entire weekend in my house was taken up of my wife searching for every single tidbit of information she could find on Taylor Swift's wedding.
I've still seen nothing other than the fact that it was in the most inconvenient place at the most inconvenient time. That's all I've been able to find.
Yeah, it does seem very.
But if it's not like a ball gown type style, I'm going to be so disappointed. I feel like for Taylor Swift, it needs to be the ball gown fairy tale.
Yes, there's definitely needs to be a princess element to it. So, but I'm just picturing a lot of trends following that dress for the next year. So should people be less focused on that and instead choose the dress that best suits their physique? So do you think, like, when you're actually, like, not for just for yourself, but like if you were helping any of your friends or acquaintances shop a wedding dress, do you think you would be sort of encouraging them more so to not necessarily look at what's trending, but actually look at it kind of like you do with a bikini and say, yes, but as you said, if it's not figured, hugging to the waist on you, it sort of goes straight up and down. Do you think that it's more important to actually do that? Or is it, do they need to sort of get away from that looking at the trend? So, I mean, I guess it is quite similar to choosing the right bikini, right? It's a little bit more, some would argue, probably a little bit more important, unless you're a bikini designer, of course, then you would say bikini is more important.
It's going to be the photos on your wall for the rest of your life, isn't it? But no, I do think definitely it's most important to get something that you absolutely love and that you feel very confident and just like it's yours. Like it should feel like you. And I think a lot of people forget that with a wedding it's about the bride and the groom, mostly the bride. Let's be honest here. It's mostly about the bride. The groom.
What do you mean mostly? It goes bride, groom's mother, everybody else.
What about the bride's mother?
Yeah, okay. Well, probably fourth. Groom is, again, as long as he shows up on time in one piece, he
just shows up. That's all he is.
He's basically just there to fill in the photos so you don't look like you've got no friends.
He's basically attending.
Yeah, he's basically a prop.
Pretty much. He's a prop. Yeah, the groom is a prop.
Yeah. Sorry, Ed. We're just trying to help you out. Accept this now. It'll make life easier.
I think he already has. But no, yeah, it's It's the day for the couple, so for the bride and her prop. So it needs to be something that you love. It's not about your mother. It's not about your partner's mother. It's not about what anyone else says, even your best friend. Like, if you truly are in love with that dress and you know that that is what you love, regardless of if it's not fashionable, regardless of anyone and everyone tells you, well, I don't know about that. If you know that that's something you are going to love forever, do it. It's for you. It's not for anyone else. And I think a lot of people forget about that at weddings because people, for some reason, all get very, I don't know, invested weirdly and make it all about them. As we saw with Taylor Swift's wedding, because notice, what was it? Was it Blake Lively was not invited and there was big drama. But like, again, who cares? It's Taylor Swift's wedding. Why do we care?
This is true.
So yeah, and I think a lot of people get very caught up in a lot of wedding drama and forget that the day is about the bride and it is their day.
No,
everyone else is there to celebrate. You're lucky you're invited.
It's yeah, that's true. It's still early. We've got months. I could be uninvited at this rate.
I mean, we haven't even sent out invites.
No, well, that doesn't shock me either. But see, this is again, this is a rookie mistake, Rachel. It's not about the bride and groom or about the day, as we just said at the beginning of today's episode. It's all about the dress.
Yeah, so it's about the bride choosing the dress she wants.
Yeah, see, and this is where brides and bodybuilders have a lot in common, and probably where brides have competitive.
Okay, I will say, if you're a bodybuilder, please don't wear usually like the orange, yellows, and whites.
Yeah, that's true.
There is. I think bodybuilding colors, like we can be a little bit less of just wear your favorite thing.
This is true. But then again, you also have to think from a bridesmaid perspective. It's like, if you're going down that route, it's like, do you pick bridesmaids' dresses that make the bridesmaids look good, or do you pick a particular dress that makes them?
I have strong opinions.
The idea is not to show up the bride.
I have strong opinions.
Okay, here we go. Come on. Tell me.
I think that the bride chooses the color. The bridesmaids should be allowed to choose the style as long as it matches that color and more or less have similar silhouettes. So like, for example, if it's floor length, they're all floor length. Other than that, they should be able to choose a style that works for them. Because the amount of times you see photos of the bridesmaids, you can tell who the bridesmaid was that picked the dress. You know straight away. Every time. If they're all the same, you know exactly who picked it.
I'm just picturing a lot of pressure going on Talia here because Talia's like 7 foot tall,
That's why you get to choose different styles. Because, like, for example, one of my other bridesmaids, Tara, she's a little bit shorter. Like, she's not going to suit the same style that Talia will. So, as long as the colors are cohesive, like we say, and it's the same color, if they have slightly different styles, that is fine. Because I would rather they all look beautiful in their own right.
So you're not going to go down the route of making them find the really ugly dress, or you look back at the wedding photos and go,
no.
Well, I'm glad I didn't get any taken with the bride.
See, I don't understand that. I don't understand why people don't want their friends to look nice on their day. Like, wouldn't you want everyone to look nice? Like, they're not going to show you up because they're not wearing the big wedding dress. Like, they're not wearing the white. Or at least they should.
And if they do show up wearing white, we know that's in very bad taste.
Also, my mother is in charge of hair, so she can really mess with people's hair if they look too good.
Excellent. It's good to know you've got a secret assassin in the wings.
I have also heard a rule of it's the red wine crew, apparently, which is basically where the bridesmaids are given permission to spill like red wine on anyone who wears white.
Ooh, I haven't heard that rule, but I think that's a fair and valid one. Much like if somebody backstage has the same bikini, it's like, oh, oops, my bad. Yeah, that seems reasonable.
I broke your heel. Sorry.
I elbowed you in the eye. Don't know how that happened. So,
pure accident.
So if we sort of see, basically the dress decides everything, right? That's kind of like once the dress is decided, everything else should, in theory, fall in the head. So if the dress is the centerpiece, do you think that the dress is about body confidence, or is it a bit more about personal style? I would say there's no comfort involved in it. It's like, if you can breathe, it's a plus.
That's literally what the lady at the shop literally said that. She's like, no, you're not supposed to breathe in these dresses. It's not necessary.
Nice. I mean, there's probably an element of family expectations thrown in there as well, I would imagine, Yeah,
I mean,
about that a little.
Wait, sorry, repeat the question.
I said that the dress becomes the centerpiece, right? So
yes.
If it's a centerpiece, what is it expressing? Is it more about the body confidence? Is it expressing your own personal style? Like when you're looking, when you're starting this whole process, and if you like, what would you sort of advise, other athletes that are also going down this process? Do you think it's more about, what makes you feel, more confident? Is it more about your individual personal style? Obviously, budget doesn't matter because, I don't even know to this day how much my wife's wedding dress cost, and I will probably never find out. I'm reasonably sure that even when finally she does get around to getting it dry cleaned. By the way, we're coming up to our 7th wedding anniversary, so don't rush these things. The budgets aren't important. When would you be kind of like with bikini, going back to the bikinis themselves? Would you be considering more not only what's going to look good in the picture, but how is it going to complete your package? Like when you do a bikini, when you do a comp, right? When you're picking the color and you're picking the cut and you're doing all of that for you, you are looking at the whole presentation package. Is it a similar process when you're looking at the dresses, or are you just going, oh, pretty?
I think confidence is the number one, and like that goes across both. Like I always ask in my consults with the bikinis, like, are you going to feel confident in this? Or if people are tossing up between two colors, which one are you going to feel the most confident in? Especially with the back cuts as well. Like we're going, like I'll say pro cut. If you're not going to feel confident in a cut this small, go up one. That's okay. It's going to look better wearing it with confidence than it is wearing it with no confidence. So I think the same goes with the dress, because again, that's a day you want to feel good. And that's something I'm being quite strict on with my wedding day, is like, if it's not going to be positive, I don't want it. So if there's any negative stuff, I'm just like, don't have it at my wedding. It cannot be there.
I think that's a valid thing. It's like, this is one day where you should feel 100% confidence in how you look and how you are. If you are constantly worried about, is this cutting the right silhouette, or is it doing anything other than elevating or boosting your own level of confidence, then you're not going to enjoy the day and you're not going to enjoy the experience. If you're standing out there at the altar the whole time thinking, does my waist look fat? It's,
You want something you are going to feel really good in, and that you're just going to be, I would say relaxed in, but like mentally relaxed. And obviously not physically relaxed, just mentally relaxed, because you know that you look good. And obviously we want to make the groom cry at the altar. That is the goal. If they don't, we're turning around and going back. We're asking for a refund.
Yeah, I actually remember when I was standing there at the altar with my best woman. Actually, I didn't have a best man. I had a best lady. I was very, very cutting edge. I was
very progressive.
Very progressive. That's me. Yeah, Valerie's going to go. I remember when Valerie started walking down we got married in Spain in this beautiful villa, and I remember she started walking down with her escort was her nephew. He was 7, I think, at the time. Very cute. But as soon as she started walking down, I turned to Katie and went, I'm screwed. I was like, if I make through this would be a miracle. I didn't get very far.
Get the tissues.
Yeah. It's literally, Katie's like, here you go. I'm like, you're supposed to be helping here, not encouraging this sort of behavior.
No, we encourage. But no, I think actually one note I'd like to make, because obviously we're more of a fitness-based audience here. I think something that a lot of the fitness ladies struggle with the most with the wedding dress is comments on the arms and the shoulders, because often people, especially females who are involved in any type of fitness, will get comments saying, oh, this is going to make your arms look big. Oh, your shoulders look really big. Like, you can't wear a strapless dress because your shoulders will look big. And I think, first of all, if you want your shoulders to look big, make your shoulders look big, wear the fucking strapless dress. Just do it.
Exactly. You built those shoulders, for Christ's sake. Show them off.
Exactly. And then, second of all, if you know someone is going to make comments like that, sit them at the back. That's your day.
I'm already picturing having rubber bands and you standing there behind the aisle, and I'm going, come on, pump, stretch,
yes,
stretch and contract. I can see that happening.
Yes. Talia's also said she's going to help me with that too.
Excellent. I will bring bands and dumbbells. You can do some lateral raises.
Backstage.
Yeah. Everybody's like, what's taking her so long? Needs another 5 minutes. Come on.
I mean, if it's a family member, you obviously probably don't sit them at the back, because, that's probably unnecessary drama. But again, you're still going to be probably at a separate table because you're at the head table. You don't have to interact with them that much. And then you can set your bridesmaids like a task of avoidance of said people making said comments. So if they even try to make a comment, you get your bridesmaids to swoop in and distract them with something else. They can have preset comments if they need. So just find ways of avoiding any of that. And if you want to wear the dress that shows off those arms and shoulders that you have worked so hard to show off, do it.
Exactly.
Because, yeah, I just feel like this is a very common thing in the fitness industry, is women getting told that their arms and shoulders look too big in dresses.
Yeah, well, that's usually going to be by some family member who's probably far too closely related to their siblings. But that's a different story.
Yeah, I mean, if you need to, you can you can do a bicep curl competition or something. I mean, we did look at doing it, like there was a chin up competition I saw on an Instagram reel at a wedding, and I was like, this looks awesome. So yeah, just you could also go the embarrassment route.
But none of your bodybuilding friends would enter because we're all too bottom heavy. It'd be like, we get 2 reps and we're done.
Mm-hmm.
So there's not
That
going to
would
be,
it would be
Ed's
all of
friends,
Ed's
on the other
mates.
hand, would just be like, you'd be like, all right, put some weight on and come back to me, see me when you've got some muscle. So I guess, and that's a really interesting thing, like you said about people's comments, particularly for it. Weirdly enough, like if from a male's perspective, you want them to fill the suit out so that they look wider shouldered and narrow waist, and you want your prop to look like he actually is strong and masculine. But for female, it's like, particularly like in this field that we're in, why should they not look like an athletic Amazonian goddess? Because somebody is saying that, they shouldn't be showing their arms or their delts or, the silhouette of their glutes. So I guess when you tie that in from a physical perspective, you also, like as I said, a lot of the people that I coach, particularly the brides, it's a very similar approach to prepping for a bodybuilding show, but from a leanness perspective, but not to that sort of extreme. Like, I know you don't like your own look when you get super, super lean. So obviously that's not sort of the look that you would be going for. But if you were to sort of say to compare it to stage lean, what sort of, I guess, final physique were you wanting to present for?
I would say I might do like 2 kg cut. Like, I mean, if we're running off current weight, I don't think I need too much. But yeah, I would basically, my one would be just like lean enough that you can see a little bit of muscle and definition in the arms, but not that they look stringy for me. Because I mean, I want to show a little bit of muscle, but yeah, I also tend to get stringy. So yeah, just like, because I feel like if you get too lean, like you lose a lot of shape. So you don't want to lose that shape at the same time. So, and you do want to have that healthy face too. You don't want diet face.
Yeah. Now, that's what I frequently say to people is like, when prepping for a wedding versus prepping for a show, your priorities are different. So the process is very similar. The end result is not to that level of extreme leanness, but you are focusing more on, do you want to present that healthy, radiant look, healthy skin, posture, energy, confidence, obviously fitting the dress beautifully because, it's all about the dress. But you also want to feel amazing, which is not something that most athletes feel backstage on comp day. In fact, most people are just like, leave me the hell alone. I just want to lay here and sleep till I have to get out there and turn the lights on.
Would you recommend, Chris, that people who are looking at doing a cut for their wedding do one before, like even a year before, just to see what they're going to look like at that leanness, to get out of it, and then they can look back at it once they're not that lean anymore and see with clear eyes and not prep goggle vision what that looked like and how it felt? I don't know. That's just the thought I had pop up. Or because I feel like people often, when they're dieting, they get this idea of they aren't lean enough in their head, and no matter how lean they get, they never feel lean enough. And then they look back at photos and they're like, I don't know if it's the same for the wedding crew.
For a wedding, there's less focus around the peaking, right? Getting the water balance right, got to do this and got to do all that sort of stuff.
Isn't it alcohol balance?
Yeah. If you can make it down the aisle in a straight line, you're winning. And obviously not spilling red wine down the front of your dress, because
I don't think I'm allowed to touch anything with color.
I don't think so. I think that would be an appropriate choice. But I think what I've done in the past with bridal clients is we've sort of gone for what does their physique look like if you think about it, more of a natural silhouette of the dress that they're wearing. So not with all the embellishments in the final product, but almost just the simplicity of the cut and the style, and then see how they feel in it. Because at the end of the day, nobody's going to be sitting there in your wedding party looking at you going, oh, geez, Rach, if you dropped another couple of kilos, you'd just be perfect. Because if they do say that, I will be the first one to beat the crap out of them. Nobody cares. Again, it's like you have to, I think if you can feel at your best in the simplified version, then you know kind of where you have to be. And don't focus on the scales, because it's not about making a weight. It's about making a look. And it's a little bit different than a bikini competition where it's kind of, okay, the weight isn't so relevant because they don't take weight, but everybody gets focused on the scales, right? Or what your body fat percentage is. And I'm pretty sure the officiant who's doing the wedding is not going to be standing up there with a set of calipers going, sorry, Rach, you're 8.2%. You need to come back next week. I mean,
go diet a little bit more fast and come back.
Yeah, yeah. It's just go do another couple of hours of cardio. Okay, we'll wait. It's fine.
Also, you want to look like you.
Yeah.
Like when you diet down a lot, like your face does change.
Yeah.
So you do want to look like you, and you don't want to do the post-wedding rebound and then never drop the weight, because that also does happen.
It does happen a lot.
Yeah,
It
and also
happens
you
an
don't
awful
want to
lot.
be stressing about fitting your dress. Please don't try to go down multiple sizes for your dress, because that is going to be stressful.
Yeah, it's just, again, it's to go down that route. If you take it from like a coach's perspective, yeah, you need to be feeling confident in how you physically look. You need to, that's going to show in your posture. It's going to show in your movement. It's going to show in your facial expression. Movement's going to be interesting because, one, you're probably going to be on heels this high. Two, it's probably going to be grass or some form of stone. And three, you can't breathe because the dress is so freaking tight, you can't do shit anyway. But I think it's more about, when you step on stage, right, you're projecting something. I think from a bridal perspective, you're projecting a presence. It's, this again, it's about the dress. It's not about the bride. The bride just happens to be carrying the dress. But, you're projecting that presence. And I think that's the difference between, say, a bodybuilding show and a wedding, other than the fact there aren't 7 judges taking notice of you and critiquing you. There's only one. I was going to say the prop, but he's blinded by love and in tears anyway, so he probably doesn't even know what colour the dress is. So
I'd hope he does.
Yeah. I mean, I'm the colourblind one, but I'm pretty sure I can tell white.
Surely. Maybe.
So if the dress is the most important thing, and you alluded before that the wedding photos last forever.
They do.
So I think that's the scary part is...
What, the photos?
Yeah, God. No, it's, because the thing is, nobody's judging your wedding, right? But those photos are forever.
Yes, and if they're going to be on display in your house, they are going to be judged forever.
Yep. Unless you're like my lovely wife and I, and as I said, coming up to our 7th wedding anniversary, we still haven't gone through the wedding photos.
A little bit slack. Just a little
We
bit.
started a couple of times, and I do have
Shocking.
the home screen for my phone is,
This is true. That is a lovely photo.
So, at least I've got that. But, we haven't done that. But I guess, different, I think you don't want to spend your entire wedding worrying about the angles of the photographers on, right? I mean, you have the photo shoot, and as we've already established earlier, Rachel's going to have 2 photo shoots because she has to get home and get the cat involved, because, Sanji will remember these things.
Obviously.
But the photos, I think, is an important part of it. Obviously, again, from a physique perspective, you are wanting to show yourself in the best angle. Again, because these things are forever, right? So at this stage, have you started planning out the wedding photo shoot?
No. You could have ended that question with, have you started planning, and just left the question there. And the answer would still be pretty much no.
But you have, however, decided to engage a wedding planner, which I think is a very, very smart and very big move for
all involved.
I'm very impressed.
Like I say to Ed, we both don't have a lot of time to do it because we quit 9 till 5 working so that we could work our own 24 hours a day. And so we're running our own businesses. We tend to spend, and especially because we work from home, we tend to spend most of our time working. And then he's not that invested in organising anything. I'm not that good at organising anything. So if I can't do it and he won't do it, it's not going to get done. So hence, wedding planner. And she can just tell me the stuff to decide. And I just say yes and no, and he just has to just deal with it.
Yep, that's true. I mean, the thing is, again, going back to, bodybuilding and etc. Wedding prep isn't bodybuilding prep, right? It's a different thing. There is different priorities. The priorities are enjoying the experience, having the energy, the confidence, the strength, and getting to... it's not about losing that last kilo. You don't want to be walking down the aisle thinking, oh, if I'd had another couple of weeks. You want to be walking down that aisle thinking, I feel amazing. This day is about me and it's about the prop. So I think, it's taking that approach, when you're preparing for a wedding, it is a major life event. And generally people want to look their best, but I think it's obviously not to the extreme that you would do for a bikini show. Because, the only person that counts is you two.
It's the prop.
Yeah. Well, again, he's in there somewhere.
He's in there somewhere. So, yeah, no, I do agree. I think a lot of people do get a little bit hung up on, I guess, the physique for weddings. I think like you obviously want to look your best, but ideally, like, I mean, I know there will be some people who do like more of like a transformation thing, but in theory, hopefully you shouldn't be trying to drop 10 kgs for most people, because that's kind of like a prep amount for majority of people. So it should hopefully just be like a light diet. Because again, if you're organizing a wedding and you're trying to get all your stuff sorted, there is a lot of stuff to do there. You don't probably have a lot of time to do all the dieting and or energy, and you're going to get very cranky because you're already going to be stressed, and then you're going to be hangry on top of that. So ideally, if you can, I'd say try to get to your body fat well before the wedding. If you need to be a couple of kgs over, that is fine. That's not too bad, 2-3 kgs to lose later on. But if you're trying to drop a massive amount of weight to fit your dress, I think that's a problem. And that is going to be very, very stressful. And that it tends to be a very common thing from what I've heard.
Yep. I have dealt with many bridezillas on that one before. But you know what's funny? Is you spent years standing on stage trying to impress complete strangers. And now all this stress in the wedding dress is stressing about one bloke, one guy. And there isn't anything to impress because he's already asked you to marry him.
I was lucky he did, to be honest, because he almost, like, remember, he waited 9 years.
I think he was probably more lucky that he did, really, because I'm not sure he would have lived to the 10th year, to be fair.
No. But, no, I do, it is actually also funny because he also doesn't care that much about the dress. I showed him actually the photos of the ones I tried on, and he hated all of them.
Ed, lie. Just... That's lovely. Even if you're getting stitched up and she's showing the ones that you definitely shouldn't pick, you just have to go. You will look stunning in that.
He needs some lessons and some training before the wedding. He's not a very good prop right now. He's not well trained.
No. Maybe we need to do a groomsman camp for him. It's like, all right, Ed, we need to get this and sorted.
I mean, end of the day, it's just about having your photos up in your lounge and bragging to anyone who comes into your house about it later on. That's it.
It's true. This is true. No.
Not the partner at all. They usually don't care.
No, they don't care. I mean, again, he's just standing there as a prop to make, to fill the photos out. Because otherwise,
Val could have worn anything, and you would have still been in tears and needing tissues and everything. So, like, you would have been a mess either way.
This is true. I will admit I didn't make it through the entire part of the wedding in one piece. So, but I'm a bit of a wuss anyway.
She could have worn jeans, and you probably still would have been in tears.
Yep, probably would have. She probably would have enjoyed that a lot better anyway, except for it was in Spain and it was like 36 degrees heat. It was freaking sweltering. But other than that, so I reckon every bride should hear that the goal isn't to be the skinniest bride. It's not to be in competition prep. The goal is to feel amazing in your dress and to completely present the best package that you want to on what is essentially the biggest day of your life.
Exactly, because in theory, hopefully, it only happens once. Hey, Chris.
It only happens right once. I'm going to go with that.
There we go. Yeah, only happens right once, hopefully.
That's right. So, but
it's not about everyone else, and it's not about all of their opinions. It is about you and your own opinion. Again, the prop doesn't matter.
It's not about the prop. It's about the bride's opinions, and it's about the dress. So,
that's all we care about.
That's all we care about. I mean, much like, maybe this is something you could do as part of your bikini consults, like a wedding dress consult. You could just get some chairs and a couple of glasses of bubbles, and just make it a whole event. Imagine how much smoother the process would go.
Honestly, I would love to do that for the bikini consults, but I would need a dedicated room for it because if I'm working in there, it's going to be a mess. I need a room that I don't touch that people go into.
This is true. Your studio is a little. I'm going to go with chaotic.
Yes, you can tell that I am a very, very not a type A personality if you come in here.
Yes, there's a place for everything and everything in its place, and Rachel's the only one who knows where that is.
Sometimes that place just happens to be on the floor, okay?
Okay, well, fair enough.
Everything has a specific pile, okay? It's got its own pile in a certain space on my desk. Sometimes it takes me a moment to find it in said pile, but it should usually be in that
pile. Yes, it's in that pile. So I guess, like, as we sort of started off, like, the prep for a wedding, other than having a fixed date, you shouldn't be treating it like you would for a bodybuilding competition. As much as we sort of joke about, like, Rachel's not prepping for a show this year, she's prepping for a wedding. The reality of it is, she's probably going to strut down the aisle doing that. Yeah. Also, I don't think Protan's the right color. Just saying.
Probably not.
Maybe not the right color. But it's set. From a coaching perspective, it's like, have the look that you want to build into for a wedding. And, the dress obviously is undoubtedly the most important part of it other than the bride. But it's don't treat it like you are peaking on a bodybuilding show. It's, yes, the physique that's being presented and you want to be at your most amazing and your most beautiful. But ultimately you want to present the most confident, comfortable, and you want to be able to enjoy the day. And you don't want to be thinking, I should be a couple of kilos lighter, or I should have trained my shoulders a little bit more. It's far more important than a show, and there is a hell of a lot bigger prize at the end of it, and it's not a shiny medal or a piece of paper afterwards.
It's a prop.
It's a prop. And on that note,
no, I have an inspirational quote here. Okay,
here we go.
Buy your dress for not for the physique you want, but for the best version of the physique you have.
I like that. That's very good.
So yeah, like for example, I could buy a dress to be like, I'm going to train up my shoulders. This dress is going to inspire me to train up my shoulders. At the end of the day, I'm probably not going to be able to put on that much light in my shoulders within the next few months. So for the best version of the physique you have. So you can make subtle changes within a year, like unless you're gonna go down the chemical route, most likely there's only so many changes that you can make. Most brides are probably gonna not go down that route.
No.
So again, there's only so many changes, and we need to be realistic about what those changes are going to be. So the best version of the physique you have, and that will also save you a lot of stress of not fitting or suiting your dress once you get to the end of the aisle.
Yeah, don't focus on the size of the dress, or you want to be this size because you were on stage at 52 kilos. There is no judge coming up and telling you to do a quarter turn to the right. There is no judge telling you that this person.
I'm waiting for you to. You're going to grab the microphone.
Swap places with Rachel, please? And Rachel, could you swap places? Oh, I'm so tempted.
He's just going to grab the microphone and be like, all right, and quarter turn to the right.
Right. Actually, I did that at our wedding.
I'm not surprised.
I got in trouble, but yeah. Anyway, so yeah, look, training for a wedding it's a process, and it doesn't need to be as myopic and as structured as training for a bodybuilding competition. And please don't confuse the two, that you're not trying to beat anybody for when you're training for the wedding. You're going to pick a dress that you love. You're going to pick a look that you love. And if somebody doesn't like it,
too bad. Sucks to
be
them.
dick. Yep. That's it. So anyway, so we have got the way back table.
There's always one table, you got to have the one table where you're like, yeah, you're here out of courtesy, so you guys can all sit over there.
Yeah, you can all sit over there. Yeah. With the partially obscured view.
Pretty much.
That's how that works. Anyway, it says this is probably going to be the longest prep you've done, really, when you think about it, because we've still technically got 9 months.
We do.
Which I'm guessing is probably meaning you're going to start training for it in about December.
Surely my badminton will help. Surely on one arm.
On one arm, yeah. You might have to be ambidextrous. You might have to swap sides every now and again.
Yeah. I think I need to just train like a figure athlete for the next few months.
Okay, we can arrange that. I'll revise the programming accordingly. Anyway,
back day.
So it's going to be a fun. It's going to be a fun 9 months. I'm looking forward to it because it should be interesting.
To be fair, I can do isometric training for my upper body by just holding my cat.
This is true.
He has 8 kgs.
Shoulder presses.
Or he would not allow that. Absolutely not. Bicep curl is probably the closest we can get, or isometric. That's about it.
That's about it. Fair enough. So, yeah. Anyway, we just thought that would be interesting to sort of look a little bit differently from, shopping for bikinis to shopping for the most sparkly wedding dress that Rachel can find.
More expensive than bikinis, by far.
This is true. This is very, very true.
Which I have to say, people say that wedding dresses are expensive. I actually think there is plenty out there that are very, very fair priced. There is some, like I say, the really ugly ones that I think they're very overpriced because they're basically a bag. But the ones that are like fitted or corseted, they have shape. They've got like their sewn in cups and corseting, blah, blah, blah. Or like the big skirts. They're worth thousands of dollars, let me tell you. The fabric alone is going to be hundreds of dollars, and then the time it goes into it.
And let's face facts, if it's not perfect, we just add more sparkles.
Cover any flaws with sparkles.
Sparkles. If in doubt, sparkles.
Sparkles, exactly.
Yeah. Anyway, but we just thought we would go down a different rabbit hole today, because I think it's coming into that time of the year when people are starting to obviously make plans for weddings for summer, is generally busy that January first quarter of the year, and I'm looking forward to seeing what Valerie will not share pictures with me, so I will probably be just as surprised as when you walk down there as Ed. So I'll be like, "That's pretty," because my opinion doesn't count.
I was going to say, you're not going to be, that's pretty, you're going to be in tears. Let's be honest here.
Yeah, I know. I'm going to bring tissues. That's fine. I'm
I actually was waiting for a message from you saying that Val had showed you the photos and that you were crying. I thought that's what I was going to receive.
No, she decided that I'm not important enough to be involved in that process. I will have words with her later about this.
Sexism.
Yep. Favoritism, I tell you. It's just how I'm getting used to it now. Anyway, that's enough waffling on about the lovely... We will discuss this in more depth later on, I'm sure, as we get closer to the big day. But big week coming up next week for us, Rachel. We'll end of next week. We're going to head down to Tauranga for the posing workshop. And Tauranga. Why do I keep saying Tauranga? To Christchurch, where you said Palmerston North instead of Christchurch. So obviously neither of us know.
Well, to be fair, that's the next week.
Yeah, that's true. So it's easy enough to understand. So we got down to Christchurch for the posing workshop, and also we will be participating in the ICN Fun Day, I think it's called.
Coaches Clinic /
So hopefully we'll see lots of people there.
Yep.
And then obviously we've got the Palmerston North, got the City Right This Time show coming up the week after that. And then there'll be lots of things going on from August through till October. So
we're going to be very busy after this week. This is probably our last week of okayness, and then it's going to be all hands on deck for the rest of the season.
Excellent. Sounds like fun. There'll be bedazzling stuff all over the place. It'll be great. So, as always, if you've enjoyed today's episode, please make sure you like, subscribe, and follow on Spotify and YouTube. It's apparently, according to the technical people, that makes it easier for people to find us. So, who knew? And next week, we will return to our normal subject of programming. Still about sparkles, just in a slightly different form. So, everybody have a great week. We will see you and talk to you next Monday.
And enjoy.